So here's the thing about editing. There isn't just one way to do it. You don't have to fork out thousands for a big name editor to get your book into shape. There are paid editors, sure, there are freelance developmental editors, there are copy editors, friends who are ruthless enough to tear your book apart. And you should love those people, by the way. They will be the best thing for you. Hell, you can even self-edit if you've got the patience and the humility for it. Let's be real on that one, that's far easier said than done. But here's the catch. No matter what route you take, you have to listen. That's the whole point of getting an editor or a reader who gives you honest feedback. It will mean nothing if you throw it in the trash, because you don't want to hear it. That's simple. And that brings us neatly to the Audrey Winter situation. If you missed this little firestorm, here's a quick version. Apparently, allegedly, Winter did hire editors, multiple editors. They gave her feedback, and she ignored it, published anyway, and now is being ripped apart. I'm not going to get into the whole situation because there's so many things wrong here, and it's not really worth talking about. But here's the wild part. People online, on threads of all the god-awful places, started saying that this backlash was just gatekeeping. That readers expecting basic editing, expecting a book to actually read like a book is elitist. No, 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 and no. That's not gatekeeping, that's standards, that's bare minimum. So, gatekeeping is when someone tells you you don't belong here, period. Standards are you can come in, but you need to wipe your feet first. That's what editing is. It's not to keep people out, it's to keep the whole house from smelling like mud. If a traditional publishing house put out multiple copies riddled with typos, pacing disasters, spelling errors, characters teleporting from chapter to chapter with no explanation, they'd be out of business in a month. So why do some indie authors think they're immune? Readers don't pay less for indie books. Sometimes they pay a lot more. So what is actually editing? Let's just put it out there. Whichever direction you go, what is editing? There are 4 different types. Developmental, story structure, pacing, character arcs. Line, flow, tone, how the sentence actually sounds. Copy, grammar, continuity, consistency. Proof, typo, formatting glitches. That weird double space that shows up on Kobo or Kindle or the iBooks version where for some unknown reason the text is upside down. Yes, that has been an issue in the past. You don't always need the deluxe package, but you need something, at least a layer of that done seriously. Because otherwise, what you got isn't a finished book, it's just a draft with a pretty cover. And covers can sell books, let's be real. But editing is expensive, I hear you typing in my comments with all of your rage pointed directly at me and your pitchforks, Starbucks, and nice cozy knitwear. And yeah, I know. Editing is expensive, believe me, I've been there. I've stared at invoices that made me want to cry. Like, I could buy a second car for less. But here's the thing. If you can't afford a professional, there are options. There are group manuscript swaps with someone in your genre. Get beta readers who actually will do it. Nice feedback doesn't make your book better. You need people who will rip it apart. Learn to self-edit in as you go. Read it out loud. Print it. Walk away for a month. Come back. I know. Easier said than done. I can't self-edit my work at all. And that's me being honest. So if you can do it, good for you. I can't. Like, that's just me. Use tools to at least catch the obvious stuff. Grammarly is fantastic, by the way. There's no one size fits all here. There's no option where you can just skip editing entirely, though. It's like opening a restaurant without tasting the food and wondering why it's frozen in the middle. Okay. Why ignoring editors is worse? Let's be real here. And honestly, ignoring editors after you hire them is worse than not hiring them at all, because what you're saying is, I wanted the appearance of being edited, but I didn't want to be challenged. That's ego talking, that's narcissism. And that's what rubs people up the wrong way in this situation as well. with the Audrey Winter thing. It's not that she couldn't afford it, it's that she didn't. It's not that she didn't know better, it's that she actively, allegedly ignored the advice that she paid for. Going by the book, I agree with that, but that's just my opinion. Okay, now, if indie editing feels too expensive, if you're going down the pay route, you can always try traditional, because guess what? They'll do the editing for you. That's part of the deal. But if you can't land an agent, it's usually one of several reasons. Either the book isn't ready yet, the market's too overcrowded, or you just don't fit the victimhood quota for the trending publishing writers that week. None of it's personal. It doesn't mean that you should never be published. It means draft again, try again. Publishing isn't one and done. It's a very bizarre process, and I've been through it a long time ago, and I know things have changed. But there are options, like I said. There are plenty of free options. But here's where I get blunt. A lot of people actually don't want to edit because they feel like an attack. Like if someone says this chapter doesn't work right, they're saying you don't work. I get it. I felt it. But that's the narcissism of modern creativity. We want the validation without the criticism. We want the reward without the work. We want to be told we're brilliant and unique and misunderstood. But readers aren't therapists. They're customers. They're handing over their time and money, and they want something finished in return on the most basic level. I bought a sandwich from a gas station. Oh, I have the bread, but where's the filling? Why is the filling on the outside? Think of it like a sandwich. And that's the bottom line. Editing isn't gatekeeping. It's about respect for the people who pick up your book and give it hours of their life. If you publish something that reads like a draft, you don't just lose one reader, you lose trust. And once that trust is gone, it's impossible to rebuild. So here's the line that always makes people mad. Not everyone deserves to be published. At least not right now. Desire doesn't equal readiness. You don't just get a medal for uploading a Word doc to KDP. If you're unwilling to edit, if your book isn't ready, full stop. It doesn't mean never, it just means not yet. And people really don't understand that. So no, editing isn't gatekeeping. It's not elitism. It's not some kind of corporate conspiracy to stop you living your publishing dreams and being your best self with your girl boss mug. It's just part of making a book that actually works. There are free options, there are paid options, there are hybrid options. But at the end of the day, you've got to be willing to listen, because if you don't, the readers will do the editing for you in the reviews. And trust me, you don't want that. Believe me. So I'm going to leave this one here. I hope you enjoyed this little ramble. Remember to like and subscribe and tell me what you think in the comments below. Also, check out membership at Patreon and Substack for exclusive content you'll never get anywhere else. And I will leave you with one more thing. Sometimes, in my own experience, listening to the wrong people is bad. It is just as bad as not getting an editor. But listening and taking it on board and ignoring it, I mean, there's a whole list of things here. So I'll talk to you guys later.